Don't be mad at me, but I bought another Nintendo remake. Hello, everybody. This is Ketchi13 with Ketchi Gaming, and I am playing Luigi's Mansion 2. Originally released on the 3DS back in March 20th, 2013, and getting a HD reveal back during Nintendo Direct in September of 2023. Now I know there's a group of people out there that'll chastise me for purchasing a remake or another Nintendo remake, and I will admit that yes, this does seem a bit pricey at $60. But unfortunately, for everyone who just knows Nintendo in general, it's not going to be discounted anytime soon, if at all, unless something drastically changes in terms of how Nintendo operates. And to be honest, another sort of reason why I bought this is as much as I loved my 3DS, and I definitely bought that over a Wii U, Luigi's Mansion 2 was my least favorite of the Luigi Mansions trilogy. And don't get me wrong, I'm actually hoping for more. But this one, I just did not like, and motion controls played a huge part of that. And although I probably could have looked it up whether or not there's motion controls in this before I bought it anyways in hopes that there were options not to, and I was correct in that assumption that they would remove or severely limit the motion controls in the game, which made me very, very, very happy. That kind of just uh, made the game unenjoyable, and in an odd way, more challenging than it needed to be due to having to tilt the 3DS in weird directions in order to get Luigi to suck things up in a certain direction. I mean, it seems kind of counterintuitive when you tilt the whole entire thing and then you can't get the same angle of the screen because you're tilting it. That just baffles me. So similar to, let's say, Skyward Sword HD and Skyward Sword in general, saying, I guess, the phrase Skyward Sword walked so Breath of the Wild could run. It's the same thing for this. Luigi's Mansion 2 walked so Luigi's Mansion 3 could run. And so far, with my experience with the Luigi's Mansion 2, it's been better. It's been a much more enjoyable experience being able to use both the analog sticks, which is part of the reason why they had motion controls for the 3DS, because they only had one stick. But that second stick just makes all the difference. It's a bit clunky, though, in one aspect. So, in order to use the strobe, you can hold down the B button or you can hold down the shoulder, which I did not discover till later, which is a little on the embarrassing side because it's a little awkward to hold down the B button with your thumb and then try and rotate Luigi with the R stick. So yeah, that was a bit of an embarrassing point, but after you discover that you can use the shoulder buttons for the strobe and the dark light, it actually makes the game a lot easier and a little bit more enjoyable to play. And admittedly, one of the aspects of this game is that, yes, in comparison to the 3DS, kind of to the nature of the controls, this game is easier to play. Don't get me wrong, it's has its moments where it can be somewhat difficult, but it's not like extremely difficult, and it's mainly due to just bad timing on my part. I mean, so far I've managed to skirt every mission with just a 2-star rating. I have yet to get a bronze star rating. I mean, it'll probably happen, But on the 3DS version, I was just failing these all the time. I have dyspraxia, which is part of the problem I had with this game on the 3DS. I was constantly just tipping things in the wrong direction. And this actually helps. I mean, I guess I'm just still praising the controls, but yes, which the controls are the biggest aspect to this game. Like I said, it's very similar to Skyward Sword HD when they allowed you to use that C stick, or sorry, C stick, that's the GameCube, the right analog stick to be able to swing your sword. Oh, just made the game so much more enjoyable. This is very similar in that regards. Now, in terms of visual, it sure everything's nicer and crisper and brighter and easier to see since it's on a bigger screen, but it still sort of maintains that kind of basic ghost appearance that you see, particularly the green ones. Those stand out the most to me. But the environments are actually still really neat looking and a lot of details. Although it's going to be hard to beat the GameCube version with the sort of atmosphere that it has, this one actually is pretty close to it in comparison to the third game, which, don't get me wrong, I love the third game, but Luigi's Mansion and Luigi Mansion 2 has a better atmosphere to it. Now, one of the things I've heard over the years is that people said this game is arcadey, and I've literally tried to Google that to determine what they mean, and I guess they have it segmented into different parts, but so does the original one, but it's more score based, I guess, in a way. And I'm not sure if that's what they mean by arcadey. I'm not really sure. It just seems like a purely subjective term in terms of what people mean and how it's used. I mean, I guess in some sense, sure, it kind of is. I mean, it's been a while since I've played an arcade game. You do a segment of a level, and then eventually you get to the big bad of the whole entire area. But in some cases, you do the level and then you get to the end of it and you fight the boss at the end of it. Then it's like I said, I'm just not entirely sure what they mean by arcadey. Now, in terms of overall gameplay, it's still pretty similar to pretty much every other Luigi's Mansion. You capture ghosts, and the better you are at capturing the ghosts, the more coins you can collect for better rewards. Now, I can't remember if there's actual score at the end of this that'll determine like what kind of ending you get. It's been a while since I played, so I'll just not cover that part. But you do earn gold that can be used to upgrade your poltergust. So that is actually something kind of a bonus for it. And same for capturing ghosts. You suck up the ghost, you push in the opposite direction to build up a meter, and you suck it in. I guess technically the meter came from this game, so straightforward, but still somewhat satisfying for whatever reason. And I will admit, this one probably, in terms of challenge of sucking up the ghost, has a bit more rewards to it, considering if you get to a certain point when you're sucking it up on the meter, you can get more rewards if you time it right, and thus upgrade your poltergust even faster. So overall, I would actually say right now I am enjoying my experience with the HD remake. And again, I'm going to emphasize, yes, the improved controls make for a better gameplay experience. Who would have imagined that? I mean, it doesn't hurt to actually have it on a bigger screen as well. And it kind of makes me wonder what other games they might pull out of their back catalog in order to do remakes, like maybe Star Fox Zero. Although I think that was talked about, and what would go into that to make it I don't know, playable without a dual screen. I I think that's just a lot of work. And I know some people have talked about disabling the motion controls. Technically, you can do that up until the charge point, but it's also a little awkward to aim with that. But that's neither here nor there. Right now, Luigi's Mansion 2 is. I'm enjoying it. I'm loving it. I like having better control. I like being able to play on a bigger screen. If you've never played this game before, I would say pick it up. And there's also a lot of repeatability in terms of playing the levels in order to go back and get secrets that you missed, like jewels or treasures, or bettering your score. Anyways, if you made it this far, thanks for watching. Have a good one.